Hey, Care Partners, Teresa Youngstrom here. Hope you're having a great day. We brought you another great podcast today. And have you liked and subscribed yet? I need you to do that. Like, share, subscribe. We really are excited about the podcast we're putting out, the amazing people we're bringing on, and what a blessing. And just the response has been really, really cool. So please do your part and watch first and then like and share and subscribe. That's so wonderful. Today, I want to talk about when maybe you've been caring for a loved one who has brain change, but maybe you still need to work during the day. Or maybe you need to do something else during the day. And wouldn't it be great if there was some type of a daycare or care center that was specifically designed with activities and people around people who have brain changes? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today because there are more of these places popping up. I'm excited to say. And how great would it be to have a place that was focused like that? I mean, there are senior day centers, but not all of them are focused in a way that they know how to come alongside and join the person with dementia on their journey and have specialized activities and things for just them. So let me tell you about my guest today, Abby Osborne. So Abby is a certified dementia practitioner with 12 years of dementia experience. She's the owner of Engaging Days Senior Enrichment Center. I'm going to say it again. It's Engaging Days Senior Enrichment Center. It's a dementia specialized adult daycare located in Englewood, Ohio. Please help me welcome Abby Osborne.
Yay! Thank you
Hey,
so much.
of course. Thanks for being here. This is such a great day. And it's so exciting to know that more of these places are opening up. But
Yeah,
tell me something. Was there someone in your life that had dementia that steered you towards wanting to provide this type of service?
I didn't have someone that I was like related to or close with until I got into the industry, but
Okay.
my grandmother inspired me. She did not have dementia, but she worked in this field. She was a CNA for many years in a nursing home, and I
Okay.
did a lot of volunteer hours there and just loved the population, especially the people affected by dementia. And so I definitely give her credit for getting my foot in the door.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing that once you spend time with these individuals, you fall in love with them? Most people.
Yes. Yeah, I love them. I
Yeah.
always tell people I get along so much better with people that are decades older than me than people my own age.
Okay. So at least you found your niche early on
Yes.
because look how young you are and you own this amazing company.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is really, really cool. Well, let me get to my questions. I got some good stuff. What would you say is the benefit and the purpose, in your words, of this enrichment center?
The benefit of it.
Yeah.
So it's the goal, and additionally, the benefit is
Yeah.
that the caregiver gets a break because so often my background started out in home care and then in nursing homes.
Sure.
And so often, what I saw in nursing homes was that people ended up there that really weren't ready yet for a memory care unit, where they're locked down.
Right.
Um, and when they're really high functioning still, they end up feeling like prisoners. Those places definitely have a job, and we need them too. But I wondered if could there be a place where they can go to get specialized care, but the caregiver can get a break. They don't have to be at home all the time. Caregivers
Right.
have to get a break or else they're going to burn out. And so that's the biggest goal and the biggest benefit is to give respite to the caregivers while giving the specialized care that is necessary for people with these type of diagnoses.
Really nice. Really nice. I really think it's so important. I have a friend also in Colorado Springs who has opened one. And again, she is just in love with the residents.
Yeah.
And, I guess you either love that kind of work or you don't. But I also have a colleague who is, she's a professor at a nursing college. And so she's taking fourth year nursing students into memory care
Good.
and teaching them about dementia. So great that we're doing this in nursing school, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah. Very important.
she remarked to me how frightened, how afraid the students were initially of these individuals.
Oh,
But then after they got to know them and after they learned some technique on how to work with them, They absolutely, she said the majority of those students then want to work in that area. So I'm so
Oh,
great. I'm so excited someone is, doing that orientation early on in nursing school and teaching people. We didn't learn about dementia in nursing school 40 years ago. I can tell you for sure we did not, you
oh
know?
yeah. Oh yeah. So
Um,
much has changed over the years,
oh my,
even from 5 years ago.
but we're still behind. I think
Yeah.
we're still behind. And so kudos to you for opening this wonderful place. And I
Thank
am
you.
sure that in Englewood, they're blessed to have you there.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Let's see. How is Engaging Days different? How is it specialized for dementia versus a typical daycare? What sets you apart?
So because I'm a certified dementia practitioner and I have so many years of specialized experience, specifically, well, because I own the business, I'm every department. So I'm the activities director, I'm the
True.
executive director. So I plan all of the activities, and largely I also am the one implementing the activities. So everything is based on people with these types of changes. It's not just for the average run of the mill senior that maybe
Sure.
is not having cognitive decline, because they are not the same. The
No.
groups that you find at like a senior center, for instance, are not going to be at the same level as the people that would be here. And so everything I do is specifically with their diagnosis in mind. The way that I
Nice.
decorate, the way that I do like different noises in the building, I try to make sure that it's always very low sensory, but not low sensory enough that they're falling asleep. I want them
Hmm.
to be engaged, but I don't want to have overstimulation, which is such a problem. Like in memory care units, you can't control that much stuff. And so I'm able to specially cater the environment and everything we do and the food we eat and everything to them, which is not going to
That
happen at a typical adult day where everybody's kind of thrown together.
right. It might just be a great big room of 40 or 50 people.
Yes, that are all
Yeah.
different. And I also believe everybody deserves their own space. You know, if you're a
Mhm.
person that has some other type of disability, you deserve to have a group of people that are like you, that you can get along with. And the people with dementia deserve to have a place with others that are like them.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Now, do you have any specialty activities like, I don't know, do you do pet enrichment or music therapy or any of those things?
Yes, music therapy is huge. We do have pet therapy and other special things that come in, but I'm a huge pusher of music therapy. I'm like music therapy's biggest cheerleader. So as soon as I had it in my budget, that was like the thing I was pushing for. So we have music therapy every week, and we love Our Lady. But yeah, so I try to add as many other special things as I possibly can. So we also have pet therapy every week. And
Hmm.
then we have a volunteer that comes in and does reminiscence therapy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so he always asks me ahead of time, like if I have a new client that's coming, what's their age, what are their interests, things like that. And then he'll put together pictures that are of movies or TV shows from their era, musicians, things to jog their memory from their long term memory, because we know their short term memory
Correct.
is not as good, so that they can have a conversation about those things. And that's a really nice program.
That's ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that. Let's see. What about physical activities or cognitive exercises? Do people coming to these locations, are they interested in those things and do you offer those things?
Yes. So I call it structured flexibility. So every day I have a plan in my head, and I have a plan on paper so that families can see theoretically what we're going to do that day.
Hmm.
But it all depends on, the clients. But every day will always include some element of cognitive activities, whether might be bingo, might be crossword puzzles, word searches. We play a lot of different word games together. And then there's always some type of exercise. So we are located in a shopping center that has an awning all the way around the center. So
Oh,
we are
nice.
able to walk even on rainy days. So as soon as the weather is consistently warm, we're out there walking every day,
Oh,
which
wow.
is so fun. We go past the other stores and all the clients wave and everybody loves them. But even if we can't go outside, we do chair yoga, we do cardio drumming, anything we can do to move. Today we did Wii bowling. That was our movement for the day.
Okay. I like that, and I'm sure they are really engaged in it. Um, do you have any what if there are hygiene needs? How do we handle that?
Yeah, so basically my cutoff is if a person gets to the point where they are like a two-person lift, they wouldn't really be appropriate for this setting anymore.
Sure.
But up to that point, we have a huge variety here. We've got people that need absolutely nothing. We have people that need reminders, some that need supervision, and some that need everything. That they might be incontinent, and we're taking them on a 2-hour schedule to go to the bathroom to make
Smart.
sure that they're dry, clean, everything like that. So as long, even if they're in a wheelchair, as long as they can stand and pivot with just assistance from one person, then they're perfectly welcome here. My goal is to keep people through as much of their journey as possible.
Nice.
And we do have both of our bathrooms are handicap accessible with grab bars so that they can help us to help them.
Okay, so my mom was in a wheelchair, so she would still be able to come.
Yeah, yeah, as long as
Okay.
she wasn't a total two-person lift. Because
Sure.
we're not a nursing home, so we don't have like sit to stands or Hoyer lifts.
Yeah. All right. I like that. It's so cool that you get to take them outside.
Yes, that's so important.
I
That's
don't
a
know of many
huge thing.
daycares that have that. I mean, I've seen some that have a little patio in the back or maybe a little
Mhm.
grassy area in the back, but to actually take them outside and go for a walk or something, that's
Yeah,
cool.
that's a huge thing for me. When I worked in nursing homes, I was always administration. I kind of drove them crazy because I was like, these people can't be locked up all the time. We got to go for a walk. We got to get
Right.
outside, and it made a huge
You're
difference.
absolutely
And
right.
you think that they just forget, and maybe they do forget, but the feeling that they got from that, they still have the benefit. They still get the benefit of the fresh air and the sunshine. They might not remember in 5 minutes that they were out, but their body feels better and their mind feels better.
Absolutely. I think that would help their morale and everything.
Yeah,
What if
it's
I
a,
doze off to sleep? Is that okay if I need a nap?
yes, we have a room in the back with a couch,
Oh, no
so
kidding.
which is really comfortable. I actually purposely never sit on the couch because I'll fall right to sleep.
Yeah,
But so we definitely we know that with these brain changes that sometimes the days and nights get mixed up, kind of like
for sure.
babies go through that sleep regression. It's sort of like that. And so I never want caregivers to feel like, oh, mom was up all night long, so now she can't go, because now you've missed your whole night of sleep, and now you miss out on your break.
Right.
Because most of the time, if they come and they just nap for 15 or 20 minutes, they're usually up and will enjoy the rest of the day with us.
Kind of amazing, isn't it?
It is amazing, yeah, but they just
Right.
need that quick little recharge.
And do they bring their own snack or do you provide lunch?
We provide a continental breakfast for anybody that's here before 10 a.m., but all
Okay.
clients are here for a hot lunch. That's a requirement that I set forth with, people, not everybody's here all day. And families ask me, well, what time, like, what's the block of time I can bring them? And I say, as long as it includes the lunch hour, you can
Okay.
choose. Because that's such an important time for socialization and
Yeah.
maintaining the ability to use their utensils, things like that.
Mhm. But what if I can't use my utensils? Can you feed me?
Yes, yeah, we do
Oh,
feed. We That does not happen very often. Actually,
okay.
it's I love that question because sometimes, well, most of the time, we see that even people who are no longer feeding themselves at home, or perhaps they have gone to the point of finger foods at home,
Sure.
once they're here in this setting and they're watching what everyone else is doing. We actually had a lady that she started out finger foods, then she graduated to a spoon, and by the time she left here, she was using a spoon and a fork and eating totally unassisted.
No kidding.
Yes, I think it's like, I always say it's like monkey see, monkey do. They're watching
Sure.
everybody else. And I purposely will pair people like that with somebody that's not having trouble, because then they watch it and they're able to do it. And we also
They
do a
do
lot of
watch.
hand under hand.
They do watch, and they may not have the cognitive ability for you to teach them what to do, but they
Right.
can watch. And I saw a video once. They were making, I don't know, something very simple like a cake mix. And there were three individuals. And when she told them to open their cake mix and, pour the bag of stuff into the bowl, some of them knew right away what to do, but some of them were like, just checking, see what everybody else is doing.
Yeah,
And then they would
exactly.
do it. And it
Yeah.
was quite amazing that they knew. And then, crack your egg.
Yeah.
And then they would. Oh, I love that. That is so great.
We
Well, now,
also have seen this has happened regularly. People, their consumption has improved once they've come here. We've had a
mm,
number of people that have come to us. We've actually got a lady right now that's 97 years old,
okay.
and she came to us with she does use hospice services at home as well, and she
Hmm.
came to us with a chief diagnosis of failure to thrive, not eating
Mm,
at home, really not engaged, pretty much just dozing off all day in front of the TV. And she's here. She plays euchre. She plays rummy. She's very, very sharp, and she cleans her plate every time she eats. So I just think that's amazing.
that is really cool. So, everybody at home, I want to remind you this is Abby Osborne. She has her own business, and it's called Engaging Days Senior Enrichment Center. And it's a dementia specialized adult daycare in Englewood, Ohio. Super, super cool. Um, let's see. So, they get physical activity, they get cognitive encouragement. What are your hours? What days are you open?
We're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5.
That's a long day. That's great.
Yeah. Well, my
I
hope
never
is because I do know that a lot of these family members are still working. My hope was to try to cover most of those working hours.
Yeah, and you are. That's so great. Well, I need a couple stories about, no names, protect the privacy of these
Yes.
individuals, but I need a couple of stories about great things that have happened there.
Oh my gosh. Well, the story I just shared about the lady that started to use her utensils again, that was huge.
Yep.
Um, oh my gosh, there was the cutest thing that happened. This lady has passed away now, but we had a lady that was 94.
Hmm.
And when she came to us, uh, she had, I mean, she had some age related cognitive decline, but then she did also have decently advanced dementia. So when she came to us, she really couldn't communicate effectively, and she was wheelchair bound. She needed
Okay.
quite a bit of assistance. Like I picked her up every day, so she needed quite a bit of assistance to get in and out of the car. She was a pretty heavy lift to get onto the toilet. And one day, after she'd been here for about a month, one day when we were moving from our exercise circle over to the tables where we do our puzzles and all that. And she would always wait for me to come and push her. But this time she just acted like she wanted to get up out of her chair, and she looked like she was strong enough to do it. So I went and got her a walker, and she stood up and she walked all over the center, and all the other clients ran behind her saying, "Yeah, you're doing it. You're doing it." It was so sweet.
Oh
And
my
from that day on,
goodness.
she didn't walk all the time, but she walked at least once a day throughout the center. And I did
Wow.
not even know she could walk.
What did her family say?
They were amazed. They were amazed. They said, "Wait, she did that for you?" Now, she lived in a really small apartment, so even if
Mhm.
she did walk there, there weren't that many opportunities to walk very far. So
Sure.
generally, her caregivers just pushed her to and from
Yes.
wherever she was going.
Hmm.
But she looked like she could, so I gave her the opportunity, and I just think that was so amazing. That gave her She was so proud of herself. I wish I could have
Oh,
taken a picture of what her face looked like.
oh, that is amazing. That is amazing. Do you ever have a challenge with an individual who they don't think they need that kind of care? They don't think they need to be there. I know I have had folks like that. They don't want to go. But
Yeah.
what I've learned that sometimes if we set it up that they're a volunteer and we give them a volunteer name tag, that sometimes they think they're going to help you. And that has worked. Have you ever had a situation like that where they don't need this kind of help? Of course, they really do, but on one
Yeah.
side, they don't.
Yes, that
So
happens a lot.
I
And
bet.
how it always starts is the family calls and they say, I cannot leave them alone,
Yep.
and I really need a break, but I know they're going to fight me on this. And I
Yep.
always tell them that's always my approach, the volunteer approach. I say, well, did they ever work for their church in the past? Did they ever
Yep.
like to do volunteer work? 99% of the time, they said, "Oh yeah, they love to help people," and I make them a volunteer. I always I get a story before they come and meet me. I talk to the
Perfect.
family and I say, "Okay, what's the story we're telling?" I told them that it's called therapeutic fibbing,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
I just call it a white lie, but I say whatever story you want me to tell them that gets
Yeah.
them the benefit of coming here, that's the story we'll go with. So that way, when I meet them, I know this is how I introduce myself to them. This is how
Yeah.
I describe what we do here to them. And it almost always works. Very rarely do I have somebody
Yeah.
that still won't come.
That consistency in the story is really important. I'm so glad you're aware of that and you're utilizing that.
Thank you. Yeah, it is super important. People don't realize that there's just certain things that stick with dementia patients. Yeah, they might not remember like what they just had for breakfast, but sometimes there is something when you least want them to that they will remember. And
Yeah.
so you got to be consistent because you just never know.
Yeah, you do never know. And I would probably keep some name tag stickers in the drawer that say volunteer, enrichment center, whatever, so that when they come in, you're like, oh, okay, well, I need a volunteer today. So I don't know.
Yes,
That's
I do. Actually, everybody gets a now
oh, how cute.
this is a real volunteer, but everybody gets tags like this.
Oh,
And
nice.
and this is a legitimate volunteer, but I can also make these for clients that think that they are volunteers. And I just make sure that people coming in know this is so they don't let them out the door or anything. This is not really a volunteer,
Right.
but it looks just that way. They look at everybody looks the same. They all look legit.
Yeah. Oh, you're so bright. That is so, so wonderful. What have been some of the biggest challenges? Because, challenges happen.
Yeah. What have been some of the biggest challenges?
I mean, somebody being incontinent, I mean, that could sometimes be a challenge or
Um, I would say no. I wouldn't consider it like we haven't ever had anything crazy with incontinence. And I mean, my definition of crazy, it has to be pretty crazy to be crazy. Because when I've worked in memory care units, you see very wild things. So to
you do.
me, nothing here ever
Yeah,
compares to that.
that's
I
good.
would say the biggest challenges for me personally is when I can't help somebody.
Mhm.
And by that, I mean, like, I'm not able to accept Medicaid, for instance.
Right.
I've had a lot of challenges with the Medicaid system
Yep.
about me not getting paid and things like that. So I'm not able to accept Medicaid. And
So you're
being able to
private
help
pay.
people from all financial backgrounds is very, very important to me. So
Yes.
I would say, to me, that's been the biggest challenge is having to turn people away because I'm not able to accept their form of payment. I absolutely hate that. I don't ever want payment to be a barrier between somebody and care or the quality
Right.
of care they
Right.
receive. But unfortunately, to keep my doors open, I have to pay the bills.
Right.
And that's the part about business ownership that I hate, that I
Yeah.
do have to can't do everything for free, which is what I would love to do.
Yeah, I know. I appreciate that too. And there are times when I'm like, oh my goodness, sending another invoice. But it is a business and we do have to buy our groceries and pay our mortgage too. So
Right. Yeah, I
yeah.
just tell myself, you can't help anybody if you're not in business anymore.
Yes. Good. That is really good advice.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Um,
I
let's
always
see.
tell people the clients are never the challenge. I do
Isn't
not
that cool? Good
it
for
is.
you.
I don't ever find working with them challenging. I think not only am I experienced, but I just have a natural love and a natural gift for it. So
Yeah,
that's never the problem. Any
I can
challenges
tell.
I've ever had, it might be with a tricky family member, but mostly it's the behind the scenes stuff. It's the red tape with all this process. It's the learning the business side of things that I had a crash course in it. That's the stuff that's really hard. I don't ever feel like I don't ever feel burdened or challenged by my
Good
clients.
for you, Abby. That is so perfect. And it
Thank you.
sounds
I
like
just
you're
love them. I love hanging out with them.
I know. And it sounds like well, then you're perfect for this. But it sounds like you're someone whose rubber band has been stretched a lot already. And so you're not taken aback by an incontinence issue or something like that, that
Right. Yeah. I mean,
doesn't
there
ruffle your
have been,
feathers.
what's that?
It doesn't ruffle your
No,
feathers.
it doesn't ruffle
Yeah.
my feathers. There's not much. I guess another big challenge for me is I'm not a good delegator. That is not my gift.
Okay.
I'm very type A. I want things done right. I want things, especially when it comes to like the way that I want my client's day to go as well as possible.
Sure.
You can't control everything. I
No,
know that you can't.
no.
And yet I'm always like watching and hyper vigilant and trying to make sure things go right. And therefore, I take everything on myself. I am not good at delegating. And it's something that I have to learn. You have to if you're going to run a business.
Yeah, it's so true. Tell me this, what is your capacity?
Our max in a day would be 10, but
Okay.
that all depends on what each person's level of care is. So if I have someone who's very exit seeking, for instance, I'm not going to let multiple exit seekers be here the same day.
Okay.
Same thing if I've got a lot of people that need quite a bit of help in the bathroom, I'm not going to have 10 of them there the same day because I focus more on the quantity or quality over quantity. So
Good for
10 would
you.
be max, but we typically average more like 6 to 8.
Okay. Well, I think that's a real nice number. Oh my gosh, our time is zipping by. Tell me this. How can my audience get in touch with you? And I'll put this information in the show notes too.
Okay.
But I'd really like for you to tell them where you are, how they can get a hold of you, contact information, that sort of stuff. How can they reach out to you?
Okay, so they can go to my website, engagingdays.com. That's days plural. We can also be found on Facebook where you can see like the day to day that happens here. If they search my full business name, Engaging Days Senior Enrichment Center, and they can email me if they want to speak directly to me at aosborne@engagingdays.com.
Okay, very cool. And I wouldn't be a bit surprised because this goes out all over the United States and up into Canada, well, and beyond. Honestly, we're in England, Africa. It's amazing.
My goodness, that's
I know.
amazing.
It's just very cool where it's been shared and received. And so there may be someone contacting you who wants to do what you do, you know, in
I
another
am so
spot.
happy to help anybody that wants to spread these services. It's definitely no competition for me. I want people to have as many options as possible.
Yeah. And how long have you been open?
1 year, we just passed our 1 year anniversary.
Gosh, that is super cool. Super,
Yay!
super cool. Did you guys have a party?
We're actually having a party next weekend on well, this won't be out until then, but we're having
Yeah.
a party next weekend.
Okay. Super cool. And I'm sure that they enjoy that completely. Do you celebrate like their birthdays or other things too? If the
Yes,
family
we do
tells you
birthday
that?
parties for every client. So we do a monthly birthday party. But because we don't have that many clients, it's not unusual that the whole party is for one person.
Okay.
And we have
I'm
a
sure they
volunteer
love
that
that.
we have a volunteer that's a very gifted baker, and she makes anyone's birthday treats, whatever they want. It doesn't have to be cake. She does pie or cookies or whatever, so they get to choose what they want.
Wow. I bet the people in Englewood are real excited that you're there and you've been there a year, you're established, you know what you're doing. I mean, way to go, Abby. I think this is just phenomenal.
Thank you so
Congratulations.
much.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, everybody, you've heard it from the owner. What she does, how amazing it is. I'm so impressed. And I wish she were in my neighborhood because I know that there are folks around here who would take advantage of that. So if you're near Englewood, Ohio, listen, reach out to Abby if this would be a resource that could help your family. I'm Teresa Youngstrom and I'm here to help. And we keep trying to put great information out there like the Abby Osbornes of the world, so that you can have great resources for your loved one who's struggling with memory care. I hope that you will like and subscribe and share this out to those people in your life so that we can keep spreading good news about dementia care. It's not all bad. And it's a journey, guys. This is not, a 3-month diagnosis and then we're gone. No, 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 no. This can be years and years of care. And people are going to need help long before they need, the type of help, before they're bedbound or beyond. So when they're still active and able to go to a daycare, it sounds like this would be a perfect situation to give you a break and to help engage them in some greater activities. Okay, everybody, you know how I feel. You got this.